Steve, so thanks for coming in, Steve. So today we're talking about brain fitness. And, you know, there's an epidemic of broken brains, and you know it, you feel it, and you fear it. And we all fear it. There's no doubt about that. There's about 1 billion lives are disrupted at this very moment and with broken brains. It's just broken brains. Every week we go over and work with the Alzheimer's and dementia patients, and you really don't want to have to go through something like that. And so that's what we're talking about today. Harvard Medical School has put together a program, and they call it the 6 Steps to Brain Fitness. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. But brain disorders affects about 26% of the adult population. But once you get to be about my age, around 80 or so, maybe a little before, I'm 80, I'll be 82 in March. When you get that age, 1 out of every 2 of us will be affected by a broken brain. Now that's pretty serious, 1 out of every 2. Really doesn't have to be that way. So look at the person next to you, and one of the 2 of you. But let's hope, because you're here, none of you will have that problem. So the good news, there is good news. I don't always have all bad news. The good news is that the brain health organizations and cognitive loss are not inevitable. They don't have to be. You don't have to lose those precious brain cells that we're talking about here today and what goes on. A couple of chairs over there. There we go. Got some over there. Until the 1990s, though, and I hope you all have the handout here. Until the 1990s, we'll be working that in just a few minutes. We'll let everyone get seated. Until the 1990s, it was always believed that the brain started at age 20 to go downhill. And it would go downhill the rest of our lives. And there was nothing we could do about it. But that's not true, because in the 1990s, they discovered something called plasticity. And that means the brain can continue to grow and change until the day we die. So it doesn't always go downhill. At age 20, we start losing our whole bodies, though. Everything starts to deplete. That's why pro athletes can play till what age? How old are they when they retire? How old are they? 30s. At age 40, we lose about 1% of our bone density every year. These things all start happening. They're just natural. It happens. So we have to work at protecting ourselves, and especially the brain. So what is a cognitive reserve? That's what I want to talk mostly about today, is cognitive reserve. You can think of a cognitive reserve as your brain's ability to improvise and find alternative ways of getting a job done. So there's other ways that your brain can function to get a job done. And there's certain lifestyles. That's the hard part. You have to change the lifestyle that you're living, most of us, in certain areas to have the brain continue to function that way. What happened was at Harvard, let's put that down there. What happened was at Harvard, they dissect brains, and a lot of brains. And what they found was, as they dissected the brain, some of the people that with their brains, they had really bad Alzheimer's. I mean, it was way beyond, they shouldn't have been functioning. But they were functioning normal. Other people that had the same type brain, and that's plaque on the brain, what happens? The brain starts to shrink, and as it shrinks, it gets tangles, and that's what you call dementia. The memories can't get through because the whole body's shrinking, including the brain. With these reserve pathways, these cognitive reserve pathways, you can build them so that memories can go through them. And that's what happened to these people that had Alzheimer's, really bad Alzheimer's. When they dissected their brain, they found the plaque on the brain. That's plaque on the brain. It's what causes Alzheimer's. They found that there's a lot of plaque on the brain, but they were never affected all the time. So there was no effect. So what did they do different? And that's what we're going to talk about today. There's 6 steps, basically, that they had worked on and probably done a little different than the rest of us that kept that cognitive reserve open. So those 6 steps, the first one, you can turn right to the back of your handout if you want, where it says seeds. Now, these are the lifestyle changes that Harvard Medical School has identified. So if you don't follow the 6 seeds here, we just call it seeds, which is a great way to do it. Oh, no handouts yet? Let's wait till they get their handouts. Are there any other chairs? That's all right. We'll bring some more in. Hey, well, let's go to the handout right in the beginning. Let's go through while the people are getting to some of the breakthroughs that they talk about here. There's certain breakthroughs. Breakthrough number 1 is the brain keeps growing new brain cells your entire life. So that's the first thing you have to remember, is the brain is going to keep growing those new brain cells your entire life. And neurogenesis is where you create new brain cells. Breakthrough number 2, there's a great variation of people's rate of neurogenesis. How many brain cells you lose and how many brain cells you don't lose, there's a great difference between the people, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today. Breakthrough number 3 was that your rate of neurogenesis is tied to the quality of your life. And that's the 6 steps that we're going to be really discussing. But breakthrough number 4, you can increase your rate of neurogenesis by 3 to 5 times at all ages. Age has nothing to do with it. Right up to the day you die, you can continue to increase it. We don't know what the optimal old age looks like, but we do know that you can extend your brain health throughout your lifespan well into your 80s and 90s and hopefully beyond. And I'm in my 80s, so hopefully it's way beyond is what we're looking for. And it seems to be working. Breakthrough number 5 was that you can operate at a higher level than ever before believed possible. So the 6 things that we're going to talk about that'll build these cognitive reserves. 1, you can just remember seeds. I only have about 30 minutes, so let's go right through it. And if you have questions, don't hesitate. Ask questions. I don't mind taking questions. The first seed is stress and tension. Now, many of you are in my classes and you hear me talk about that all the time, but remember this, 60 to 90% of all your illnesses, all of them, and all your injuries are caused from stress and tension. Now, that's according to Sierra Memorial Hospital here up the hill here, Dr. Brian Evans, who runs the hospital up there. That's the figures that he uses. Harvard Medical School uses those figures. So how would you like to cut out 90% of your doctor visits? Would that be great? 90% of your doctor visits. It's just simply by getting rid of the stress and tension in your body. So how do we get rid of that stress and tension is the thing we have to work on. There's a lot of ways, of course, and Qigong and Tai Chi are a couple of, well, here comes Steve now. He's got some more chairs. Okay. You okay, Steve?
Yeah.
Okay, so stress and tension. That's 60 to 90% of all your illnesses and all your injuries. That's a lot. That's a big lot. So we're living a lifestyle that creates stress and tension in our lives. We do exercises. In the other handout that you got today, we'll talk a little bit about exercises. And that's the E. So stress and tension is the S in seeds. The E is exercise. Now when you're doing exercises are great, and I don't care what kind of exercise you do, it's good for your body. But most of the exercises that you do is getting your body out of balance. Now by that I mean if you go out and play tennis here, you're hitting that ball, and those joints are getting a little out of alignment. So they need to be rebalanced. Same way if you're lifting weights. If you're lifting weights here, what am I doing? I'm building some really strong muscles in my arms, and I think, well, that's really great for me. Shouldn't be any problem with me lifting these weights and really getting strong. But what happens? This muscle gets strong and it starts to pull on these and it'll pull the joints. So we have a lot of joint replacement, knee replacements. We have a lot of hip replacements. Now, I'm not saying these are bad. I'm saying keep doing what you're doing. What you love to do, keep doing, because they're all great. Harvard has rated the top 2 exercises for the body. Number 1 is swimming. When you go down in the pool here and swim, it really rebalances the body because you're using the whole body, every bit of it. Number 2, Qigong and Tai Chi, of course, and that's what I do, so we love that. Now, the reason that being is because we are rebalancing the body. These are slow-moving, gentle exercises where you're just simply pushing like so. But see, when that muscle from lifting the weights that I was using down there, lifting those weights, is now getting stretched back out and rebalancing this elbow here, or this shoulder here, so I don't have to replace my shoulder, or this knee down here, so that I don't have to replace the knee. Because when I'm doing it, I'm stretching everything in my whole body with these slow-moving exercises. So the Chinese, for thousands of years, were figuring out, they researched it for 5,000 years, a whole healthcare system that's different than our healthcare system. It's the same way with yoga. You come in here and you get on these yoga mats and you stretch way out. And John can probably tell you the number one injury in his physical therapist's office is probably yoga, isn't it? Pretty close to it. But especially the hot yoga, he says, and when you're not used to moving it, your body gets out of balance. Now, his wife's a yoga teacher, so a lot of times it's the teacher. Is she a Pilates or Pilates teacher? That's number two, isn't it, John? That's number two. It's people that get hurt from the Pilates that gets the body out of balance too. But it's usually how you're being instructed. So you really want to make sure you have good instructors if you're doing those types of things. And if you're really stretching those joints out, you got to get them back in balance. And that's what the Chinese finally figured out, is that gentle, slow-moving exercises where you're working from the toes to the nose and everything in between is going to rebalance the body so that you don't have those problems. So exercise is great for you, and keep doing all the exercise you're doing. The more you can do, the better off you are. But if you get on those weight machines down there, remember, you're going to probably be a little out of balance. So you need to do these stretching exercises that are slow moving. Not holding the pose. If you do that, that's great too, because it's really going to strengthen your body and get everything moving. But at the same time, do some of these stretching exercises where you're moving the whole body from one end to the other. So you got stress and tension. Now you got exercise. The other thing is education. That's the second E in SEEDS. We call it SEEDS. Now, education is motivation. And that's why you're here today. I'm talking to the choir here today. You guys understand that. Education is motivation. The more you know about your body and how it works, those of you that come to my classes know I'm constantly talking and telling you what's going on in your body. There's a couple of reasons for that, because the Chinese say where the mind goes, the chi flows, or where the hand goes, the energy flows. So we're rebalancing the body just by telling you a little bit about it. If I say we're going to the liver, and you'll hear me a lot of times say that, energy will go to your liver. It's where the mind goes, the chi flows. So if you educate yourself about the body and what's going on in the body, it begins to move energy. And that's what the Chinese found out after 3,000 to 5,000 years. Now, Harvard Medical School, they sent a doctor to China for 12 years to study the mystery of this chi. Why are they healthier than we are? And why do they have less injuries and less illnesses than we do when we have the greatest system in the world, paying the highest doctors and the highest hospital fees and everything? We do have great doctors and hospital fees. But what they found out, what Harvard found out, was that Tai Chi and Qigong that they do every morning in the park. Now, I'm not talking about long periods of time. I'm talking about 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day of rebalancing the body. So if you educate yourself on what's happening in your body and bring it back into balance with the correct exercises and what's going on in your body and with the education, it'll start to give you better brain fitness, and things will start to, the stress and tension will start to go away. So these are things that you can do that are really simple. Now, I teach one class where it's only 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day will rebalance your whole body. Now, would you like to get rid of 90% of your doctor visits for 10 minutes a day? Yeah, you would. So we have to work as well the fascia in the body and all the connective tissues and all of this stuff, which we don't do with most exercises that we're doing. But those exercises are very, very good for the body, so don't stop doing anything that you're doing. But they rated swimming number 1, Tai Chi and Qigong number 2. So those are the two gentlest and easiest exercises on the body that you can possibly come up with. It doesn't stretch it out of shape, doesn't move it, it just brings it back into rebalance. So we're talking about balancing the body, and that's what that one sheet will be talking about there. Now, so we've got stress and tension, we've got education, and we got exercise. Now the D is for diet. And that's a big one. And everyone says, whoa, I've been on 1 million diets. No, it's not about diets. It's about what you eat. You should eat high quality, of course. And diets really won't work if you want to lose weight. It'll work temporarily, but you'll probably come back and you'll do it over and over again. I'm a really intense instructor sometimes. And I taught spinning for 20 years, since I retired in 2000 until about 2000, until just recently I just stopped spinning. But on spinning, you can spin really fast, and I'd go really fast. I do a lot of jumps and a lot of these things. And during that 20 years, I gained 80 pounds. See, I was thinking, well, the harder I work and the more exercise I do, the more I'm going to lose weight. You won't lose weight. Sorry to tell you, by working it. You just won't. It'll build a metabolism a little bit, but you're not going to lose very much weight. There's only one way to lose weight, and that's eat less. I don't care what you eat. You can keep eating everything that you're eating right now. Just eat less of it. There is no other way. I was on that spinning bike one day, and I said, man, I got to lose these 80 pounds. I got to get back down. My knees are starting to hurt. My hips are starting to hurt. Everything's starting to hurt. I got to get some weight off of here. And then I looked on the little card. You know, in the gym, they give you a little card that tells you how many calories you burn for each exercise you're doing. Well, for an hour of spinning, I burned 350 calories. Now, how many calories do you think's in a pound? 3,500. How many hours would it take me of spinning to lose a pound? 10 hours. I said, I'm never going to do it this way, because the more I spin, the hungrier I get, and the more I eat. So it was real simple. I just started eating less, portion control, smaller. It didn't matter what I was eating, although I do eat a Mediterranean diet, basically, you know, fruits and vegetables, fish, that type of thing. But it's quantities of what you're eating that makes a difference. So the diet makes a difference. And a high quality diet is great. We have some great stores like Briar Patch and all of them here that sell some really great foods. And food is one of the things that you really have to watch the diet for the brain fitness. And the Mediterranean diet is the one that Harvard Medical School says they found that's probably about the best way. If you eat just like the Mediterraneans do, with a lot of olive oil, a lot of wine, it's okay. And a lot of fish and that type of thing, you'll be on the correct diet. Now the other two S's on seeds on the back there, as you can see, one of them is sleep. And you really need, if you're having trouble sleeping, there's certain things you can do to help you with your sleep. You can simply, and we do it in class all the time, we'll do a foot massage just on the floor here. I'll just start moving around like this or rocking back and forth. Now when I'm rocking back and forth, there's more nerve centers on the bottom of my feet than anywhere on my body. Anywhere on my body, I have more nerve centers down there. So if I can settle my nerves, should be able to sleep a little sounder at night. So I just basically, I'll stand up beside the bed for 10 minutes if I'm having trouble sleeping, and I'll rock back and forth. I'll squeeze my toes, because there's things called meridians in the body that we work with also. And there's pressure points on each toe. We don't use needles, that's called acupuncture. So we're using acupressure to open 9 pressure points on my feet just by rocking or going in a big circle. And we're opening up, settling the nerves and opening up meridians. So they're real simple, gentle little things that you can do. Slower you go, the stronger and the deeper the massage. So it's all about slowness. It's not about speed. Everything's about slowness with Qigong and Tai Chi. We move at very slow speeds. But it's also doing a complete job of getting my body back into balance. And if I can get my nerves settled, and the other place where you have a lot of nerves, so that's called foot reflexology. You've all heard about foot reflexology. That's all it is. There's another place is the ears. If you have really trouble sleeping, do the feet and then just do the ears. Just rub the ears until they get hot, because there's a lot of nerve centers in the ears. And when you have hot ears, then you're going to settle your nerves again. And at the end, you can just pop the ears a few times, about 5 times. It's going to really clear the inside of the body and the brain a bit. So these are just simple things that you can do. And the other S on there is social. Now you're all here tonight, so you're social people. So again, I'm talking to the choir. But as we grow older, what we tend to do is retreat. We stop going out. We stop wanting to participate. We've been there. We've done that. Why do we want to do that again? I've done that before. I don't want to go see those people. So what you're doing again is your brain's retreating and it's starting to shrink and start to come together. Those are just the simple 6 steps that, it goes into a lot deeper, but I'm just giving you a brief outline here today. But those are the 6 steps that Harvard Medical School has identified that if you will change your lifestyle and use those, and make sure those 6 steps are included in your lifestyle, and that's rid your body of stress and tension. 60 to 90% of all your illnesses and injuries will go away if you can do that. Meditation is another good one. That's part of Qigong and Tai Chi, is a deep meditation. Sometimes we'll do the golden light meditation or one of those types of meditation. They're all great. And so stress and tension, and then education. The more you know about your body and the gentler you treat it, and make sure you're doing the exercises that are gentle and soft and rebalancing your body. You must rebalance the body. If you go in and see John over at Body Logic, he owns Body Logic. If you go over and see him, first thing he's going to do, I've been in many times, he's going to grab your knee if it's hurting and twist it and stretch it. And you're going to say, ow. See, but you wouldn't do that because it was hurting, so you would baby it like so. And that's probably the worst thing you can do, and then you're going to end up going over to see John, and John's going to really push it and say, does that hurt yet? Oh, that hurts. I'll hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's do it again. And he'll stretch it again. So it's about stretching the joints and doing the things. So it's educating yourself as to what's causing these body problems, and how does the physical therapist work with the body. How do you want to work with your body? What kind of exercises can you do to rebalance your body? When you go see John or the physical therapist, you're rebalancing your body, and that's what it's all about. So your exercise, after you exercise, you do have to rebalance your body. If you're out running or walking, you have to rebalance because you're using your legs a lot. But you're neglecting some of the others, and it's starting to build up and pull your hips, and you're going to have hip problems unless you can stretch them out and rebalance them again. And slow moving exercises, a great way. It doesn't necessarily have to be Qigong or Tai Chi. Many of the exercises we do here in the gym, in the big room over there, are stretching exercises. But not holding the stretches so much. That's good, and that'll really help your body. But it'll also put it out of balance, so you need to do a few gentle exercises. Slow, gentle, just moving, getting the body back in place so that it's not sticking out over here, sticking out over there. The bones are not out of alignment. Everything's coming back into alignment. And then the diet. So the diet, we know a Mediterranean diet is just about as simple as anything. If you want to lose weight, there's only one way: eat less. That means smaller portions. Just eat half of what you're eating. People come up and they tell me, Homer, I can't eat any less. I don't eat much already. I say, eat less. I can't eat any less. Eat less. That's all I can tell them is eat less. There's no other way to lose that weight unless you eat less. If you don't have smaller portions, you're going to keep gaining weight. So then we get into the social and we get into the sleep. So those are the 6 steps. Now, what kind of questions do you have? Because we don't have a lot of time here. Anyone that's having a question that they want to ask? Go ahead.
But a quick suggestion. Somebody told me, because I was having sleep problems, to go outside and walk with your feet on the ground for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You're getting the reflexology points.
Yeah, and you're rebalancing yourself. You're coming back into balance. It's all about balance and what's going on with the brain fitness. Any other questions you might have? We've got about 2 minutes before I have to go down. Okay, so those are the 6 things. Now, it's not set in stone that your brain's going to keep going down, but it is if you don't do some of the 6 steps that Harvard Medical School, not me, Harvard Medical School has identified those 6 steps. Sheila, you have a question?
Yeah, about massage.
Massage. Okay, the biggest department in a Chinese hospital. In every Chinese hospital, the biggest department is massage and physical therapy. We don't even have those departments in our hospitals here. They do 1/3 of the operations that we do. They do 1/3 of the drugs that we do. And they're much higher on the health scale than we are. We're at the bottom of all the civilized nations, and we spend the most money and have the best doctors and the best hospitals. But what did I say? What type of exercises are we doing? We're doing preventative. So the Chinese system, The old and the ancient, all of the Ayurveda and the yoga and all of them are preventative systems to keep you from prevent the diseases. So massage is great. It will realign your body. It'll realign some of the bones. Seeing John at the physical therapy office is one of the best things you can do. So, and if you're on Medicare, you get like 20 visits a year. Tell your doctor if you have a problem, go in and get your body in alignment again. You don't want to keep it out of alignment because that's going to affect the brain cells again. So the brain is shrinking and it's begin to tangle. And when we do these 6 lifestyle changes, and that's the hard part. Lifestyle changes are not easy. They're really hard for a lifestyle change. But you really have to start doing some of the lifestyle changes. Any other questions? That answer your question there?
What about alcohol?
Alcohol. Alcohol is good for you. It rebalances everything, but you do have to use caution with it and not overdo it. It's like if you go out and run on the pavement, you're going to destroy your joints. If you go out and you drink a whole bottle, if your doctor says, yeah, you can have one, he didn't mean one bottle, he meant one glass per day, not a bottle. So the Mediterranean diet's about a glass or 2 glasses a day for a man, probably 1 glass for a woman, is what Harvard Medical School says it is. Now they do have a lot of pamphlets from Harvard Medical School, and one of them is How Do You Build Those Cognitive Reserves, and that'll go through in detail what I'm talking about here today. That's where I get most of my information because they sent a doctor to China for 12 years to study the mystery of Qi, and then they brought him back. He's my age. Now that was in the 70s they sent him, but he's my age, and he's been doing research on alternative medicine ever since because he said something's going on over there that we've got to discover here. And now he's head of the hospital at Harvard, the Alternative Medicine Hospital, and does tremendous research on Qigong and Tai Chi and what's happening in the field of brain fitness and how it works, how Tai Chi and Qigong works with all of these various things. Any other questions? Yeah. Richard Eisenberg. Richard Eisenberg. You can look it up online. I think that's his name. It's something like that. I may have it a little off. But Richard Eisenberg, alternative medicine, Harvard Medical School. And he's the doctor that went over there for 12 years and spent 12 years trying to study the mystery of Qi and why it works. If you want to learn more about what I'm talking about here, go to YouTube and go to Bill Moyer on PBS. Does everyone remember Bill Moyer? Okay, everyone remembers Bill Moyer. He did an interview with that doctor. And he went to China with that doctor, trying to figure out what is going on and how this really does work and why it works the way it works. So he toured all of China, all of the various systems that they go through with that doctor, and he put it on PBS, and now it's called Healing and the Mind. Healing and the Mind. Now there's 5 videos on healing in the mind, so the only one you're interested in was the very first one that he did, and that's called The Mystery of Qi. Why does this word energy, what is Qi, life's vital force? Why is it such a mystery? And you'll see some amazing things on that video. You'll see a grandmaster just use his energy to throw several people just like this, and Bill Moyer says, this can't be real. Doesn't look real to me. And the guy, one of the guys he was throwing was an American karate expert. He says, Bill, I've been over here 4 years studying. I said, I'm really dangerous. I could hurt anyone. I'm really great at karate and all these hard martial arts, but I can't move this guy. I can't move him. He said, last time I tried, I hurt my back. Bill says, I want you to go try it one more time. This can't be real. It doesn't look real. So he went up and grabbed the guy, and the guy just crushed his back with hardly ever moving. But he's just moving energy, and he's moving it through this gentleman. And so Bill Moyer tells the guy, 4 more years before you can learn anything, because he said, when you can throw me, I'll teach you something new. But you'll find on that video Bill Moyer did, and Bill is one of the best interviewers. You know, he did it Joseph Campbell and a lot of the other interviews of all the great minds of the world, and that was really a great one. So Healing in the Mind, Mystery of Qi, number 1. Other questions? Other questions? Okay, so I'm just about out of time now. We're going to be doing Qigong. If you haven't seen Qigong demonstrated, we'll be over in the other room here in 30 or 40 minutes. John's going to talk first, and then we'll be over there. And then we'll be doing some Tai Chi over there. If you haven't seen Tai Chi, you can watch the Kung Fu kids and the Taiko drummers. And we got plenty of food. How much food do we have, Steve?
A lot of food.
A lot of food. You have more food than you could possibly eat, so enjoy the food. Yeah, eat less. That's my wife.